2016 series, designing to bridge the sound gap between yesterday and today. Today is Saturday, June 27, 2009, and today on those are the days I pack up my trunk full of memories and get ready for retirement. Today, indeed, I pack up those memories as we look back at our years together. Between now and 5 o'clock this afternoon, we'll reminisce a lot, and I hope we'll laugh a lot and perhaps shed a tear or two as we recall the good times we've had. And Ken, my faithful friend and constant Saturday afternoon companion, as you well know, it all began back in Evanston, Illinois, on the radio station WNIB.
No,
it didn't start on WNIB. It was WNNP, WNNP. I'm not concerned about this program at all. Shortly, the call letters were changed to WLTD, and we were on that station 1590 on the AM dial from 1970 to 1975. Then I moved over to WNIB in Chicago in 1975 and stayed there for 25 years until 2001. Then we moved to WDCB in Glen Ellen, and there we have been since then, 2001 until today. We began on WDCB on February 3rd with a simulcast on both WNIB and WDCB in the year 2001. Then we made a full switch to WDCB on the 17th of February. So, Ken, you know, we observed Jack Benny month on 2 stations in that year. Because we started on WNIB.
Actually, I think we were on both stations at once.
Right, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was a very generous gesture on the part of both stations to say, well, let's let the audience know where we are. And also, let's let the audience know where they couldn't hear us anymore, because WNIB had a very large overall Chicago city, WDCB, was coming from ELPH County, with very good coverage in the Chicago area, but not total coverage. So there would be some pockets of difference, but the major advantages of going to WDCB were many, because they would provide us with that same Saturday afternoon spot that we started out with at 1 o'clock on Saturdays back in Evanston so many years before. And also, they said, we'd like to have it, which was really a very nice thing to say. Now, we're going to talk a lot about different things that we've done over the years. We play lots of clips for you this afternoon and see what's cooking with all kinds of things. But I want to take you back real far to last Father's Day. This last Father's Day. We were having lunch with my daughter Sue and your husband Steve and Natalie and Eric. And we were talking about accomplishments, as grandparents always do with their children. And Eric, who was age 9, he said, yes, he could really do something special. He recited in order name, the first 20 United States presidents. And he was also working on the next 10. Soon I'll have them all. Now, Eric, don't worry, I'm not going to give you up tonight. But we were very proud of it. And I got to thinking, now wait a minute, we've been on 39 years with all this program. And when we started in 1970, Richard Nixon was in the White House. He came to the door this afternoon with the Morton Grove Civic Center. They do everything they can do for us on the air, on the controls, on the phones, behind the scenes. So our sincere and heartfelt thanks to Rick Garofalo, George Littlefield, Chris Littman, Richard Porter, Carl Pearson, Warren Sampson, Connie Chauncey, Jim Raymond, Barry Younger, and Jim Gillespie, and of course, Ken Alexander, who's been away in there for so many years. And I had a little trouble getting through this. But today's broadcast is dedicated to the memory of our friends, Morton Paradise and Lane Company. And I'm proud to have known those folks who have been worked with us over the years. Okay, soon after we moved to WDCB, Ken joined our show on a regular basis. He was acting as an official guest host for many years.
Yes.
When did that start?
Maybe 26, I think, yes.
Fairly familiar voice to listeners of those days is the gentleman who's next to me at the microphone is at this moment. He's He's Carl Pearson. You've heard him many times in the broadcast talking about the big bands and the big band singers. And won't you please welcome Carl Pearson. We have been friends from the very earliest of our radio days together, right?
That's correct. That's correct. I guess I could say I'm a charter listener. I did catch that first broadcast on May 2nd, 1970. I don't know. Maybe it was 2 or 3.
Carl's career began, interestingly enough, on the radio because I was filling in for an afternoon broadcaster by the name of Mike Schwimmer. Many of you who were with us in the early days who haven't seen it remember Mike Schwimmer. He had a program called The Yesterday Shot. And it was a policy on the station at the time that if one of the people had to have a day off or were going on vacation, someone else on the station would just fill in for them, in addition to their regular job, their regular shift. So I was doing the Paul Closet morning show Monday through Friday from 7 to 10, and Mike was doing from, I think, 4 to 6:30 or 4 to 6:30. It was a daytime station, so I signed off at sunset. So one week in the middle of the summer, I was going to fill in for Mike Schwimmer. I think it was just for either a day. And Carl, who had called the show before, he called Mike in the show, I think he said, yeah, he called. And he said, what did you say to me?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Other than, well, be sure to play some Glenn Miller that day.
That's what he always says. He was one of the fans in the world. And so I said, gee, I'm doing 2 shows today. I'm doing my show in the morning and my show in the afternoon, whatever day it was going to be. And I thought, if I could get this guy, who seems to be articulate, who seems to be a big Glenn Miller fan, if I could get this fellow to bring a bunch of Glenn Miller records with him and talk about them, I could be off the hook and let Carl program the show.
Instant programming.
Instant programming. I suggested it to Carl, and I was amazed. I don't know why I should have been. He jumped out at me instantly.
Yeah, I get the Frank Nelson. Ooh, yeah.
So then one afternoon, when the day came around, and it happened to be the 10th of August in 1973, Carl Pearson brought me down there, because I was studying for Mike Schwimmer. And this is a clip of that. I thought it was so unique that a young fellow at this time, back in 1973, talking about Glenn Miller, who's, people 17 years of age in 1973, their music was any place but Glenn Miller. So I thought Carl deserved a show of his own. I was a general manager of the station for a year and a half or so. And during that period, I invited Carl the next summer to do a show called Jukebox Saturday Night, following those other days every Saturday.
It was the greatest time slot in the world. I had a great leading audience. It was just great to follow your show and just kind of keep playing the nostalgia songs that
it was so nice to have you follow me. I was just, it just blended in so well. It was so perfect. Now, over the years, when you have, after, it was a daytime station that would run out of time, so we couldn't do it in the fall and the winter and all that sort of thing. And then by the next year, we were given the old heat hole at the station, and that precipitated a move to WNIB. And from that point on, I would invite you 2 or 3 times a year to become a guest on the show, almost a co-host, and we would talk about the big bands and put together a nice program. And almost every single time, it would be Carl going on his library of music material from broadcasts and other things that we would put the spotlight on that day. And some of the artists that we featured in those shows.
Oh, of course, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, Eddie Howard was always a big favorite. We've done shows on the different Chicago bands. I must say, too, I had the great opportunity for your involvement, connections, and encouragement to meet some wonderful people over the years. George T. Simon came in and talked about Glenn Miller. Got to meet Tex Beneke through you when you were doing the Summer of 42 concert out at Virginia. So, we've done, I haven't done a numerical chart, but we've covered a lot of the great big bands over the years. And then once once in a while we can cover some bands that were maybe a little more on the obscure side, just to show people just to show listeners what was going on a daily basis.
We talk about the V-discs too, the discs that were recorded for the military personnel in World War II. And we had a whole program of the V-discs.
We did that a couple times, and it was great fun. We had a lot of great commentary on that for people that they really appreciated it. It gave you a real slice of what life was like from the music side during World War II.
We couldn't get a parallel program following me on WNIV because he didn't seem appropriate to play Ben Goodman on Zephyr.
That's right.
But in the summer of 1981, I decided to take a 10-week vacation from those early days. And Carol enabled me to do that because we did a 10-week series subsequently from Saturday afternoons, and it was called The Sound Picture.
Right. Actually, I think it was, it was just 10 weeks, right? And we did a sound picture. It was a lot of fun. We covered the years 1936 to 45, which was, of course, kind of the height of the big band era. But we didn't cover just the bands. We played broadcasts from those particular years as well. I can't remember offhand the different things we played, but selected a number of representative slices of complete programs from the period. Of course, band remotes, some musical bits, and of course we played some different historical news clips as well to kind of give a good overview of what occurred during that year. And then of course there was some minor commentary throughout the broadcast as well.
I was supposed to, we weren't going out of town. Ellen and I weren't going out of town, and we were going to do all kinds of things that summer on Saturdays. But with Carol hosting the program, we had that kind of stuff. We never traveled too far. Because I would want to be at least in the car to listen to this great program. Carol has been a distinct pleasure to be with you for all these years and all this stuff, and having plans here, and today too, on this start place of mine.
Thank you very much.
You're going to be part of Steve on all of our best, and those days as it continues.
Thank you very much.
Saturday afternoon, 1 to 5 p.m. Presenting old-time radio on public radio from College to Faith, 9.9 FM, WBCB, and WBCB HD1.
Audience participation. Now, Rick and Steve will have to try to top that. So
That's good we never heard.
Well, maybe you can sing, Mommy, it's dear, I'm or something like that. I'm Chuck Shaden. Listen to those for the day, Saturdays from 1 to 5, old-time radio on public radio from College ELPH, 90.9 FM WBCB and WBCB HD1 Glen Ellen, and on the World Wide Web at WBCB.org. This is our last broadcast of those for the day, so the program will continue with Steve Darnall as the host beginning next Saturday, July the 4th. A great pleasure for me to be doing this program for all these years. And of course, we will take over hosting and doing some chores as the program continues its 40th year. What model microphone is that?
This is the 55 SH. Actually, this is a newer one, so it's called Super 55.
Oh, this is a working.
It is an actual working mic. We're in a music group here with other performers, people like received mics, Frank Sinatra, Barbra Streisand, Tony Bennett, Sammy Davis, and then Hope Young going third. But there's where promise, which is an actual working mic. You're an actual working mic. So for so many years we made radio with our life, and thank you for sharing that time with us. They say that retirement is when you stop living at work and you begin working at it. With this in mind, I know I speak for all of your longtime fans here and Radio Land, and wish you the best of health and happiness. Congratulations.
Gonna take a picture. Hello out there in Radio Land. Bob Filosowski is with us this afternoon also on our way through this program. And Ken's got a little message and then we're going to bring that up.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask the folks to see our website, which is easy to find. Just go to www.SCHADEN'S.com.
Welcome, Bob Filosowski. Big hand. He always comes into the studio armed with all kinds of reference books about whatever the subject is, and proceeds never to open those books and just talks about all that stuff. I just like reading books. That's great. Let's see, we first met, I don't know, many years ago. It was at Northwest Medical Center, wasn't it? That's correct, yeah. You were putting money in, I was taking money out.
Well, we started to have about a mascot with the long range.
But what you don't know is I was taking out your money. Yeah, Bob at the time was he was writing movie reviews for the Tribune TV magazine. He was writing reviews of the movies on television, little capsule reviews, and we hit upon an idea named Allison's and Friends because of he was interested in old-time radio and movies, and I was interested in old-time radio and movies. Right. And we talked about it, and I said, maybe you could come on the show. I hate having you come on the show every week. I mean, drive to do a show every week, but maybe we could pre-record something at a convenient time. And tell us about the movies that are coming on television in the week ahead and what our listeners might be interested in.
That's right.
Not the all kinds of crazy stuff, but just those kinds of things.
Right.
And we started doing that.
Right.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Maybe 5 minutes. Yeah. But that's when your studio was on Peterson and Cicero.
Yeah.
Cicero. And I remember going there the first time and I was thinking, the studio's going to be this big. I thought it was about the size of that table. I mean, but I have to say, after doing that and listening to the show, it was in the afternoon, I remember to do it every week. I came back several weeks in a row, and then somebody asked me if I wanted to do a Friday night film festival at Northwest Medical. And we started that off with a history series in 1978. And we did that for a while. And to kick off that series, you asked me to do 1 or 2 shows about ELPH and stay until afternoon. And that's how we got started.
Over the years, Bob's been one of the most frequent guests that we have, and along with Carl Person and many others, I really always look forward to the shows that we're doing together because we'd be focusing on a star from the movies, and yet we were illustrating the work of that star with radio shows. And there was always a wide variety of comedy, history, drama, even if they were doing movies. So that was a neat thing to do. And so we have talked about a gazillion stars.
Oh, yeah.
I know your favorite was Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart, right? Henry Fonda, Burt Lancaster, yeah,
Also, there's Tracy,
right.
Dorothy Moore, Wise Russell, Larry Beck, Ronald Reagan, we did White Rogers, still like the horse Humphrey Bogart, and Warren Paul. Dave Kay, one of my favorites, and every show, we've gotten better with every show. We've come to us with more information, and when I call Bob and say, well, what do you think about doing something here? I'm always calling 3 or 4 months in advance.
Right.
And how about this? He's an architect by trade, and so he kind of lay off a little bit in the summertime, which I think busy. But boy, he didn't do it winter day to talk about the movie. And then I said, well, let me see what I got. Who would you like to talk about? Or let me think of this suggestion and so forth. And then I do the research to see what kind of movies we have, and then I tell you about those movies.
Right.
And you make sure that you refresh your memory and saw all those movies again, and many more, and then come prepared, and we have to set a small time.
We always do. We never rehearse anything. We'll start a conversation and I'll finish it.
Well, the show is, I'll say, if I look, I got 30 seconds to go, and I say, what should we talk about now, or maybe I'll ask you this, or, and then I don't, I forget, 30 seconds, it's going. And then I come up with a different question, right?
Oh, yeah, always. Okay. I was telling Carl personally before I came up here, every time we finish a show, I feel like I haven't said everything I wanted to say, but we get as much as possible.
Well, the way it goes with a show like this, we have 4 hours, 1 o'clock, it's 4 hours to go, and we've got so much radio shows and so much time allocated, and we have a leisurely pace. We're talking, we're ad-libbing, we're doing all of this stuff, and all of a sudden, the old clock on the wall starts ticking off, it's 4 o'clock, and we say, oh, geez, we're getting short, and we got all this stuff to do yet, not conversation about this. Let's cross this up. Let's do this. I think I can get out of it. There's a long music theme at the end of this show. Say 12 seconds. What we get done?
Right. And then you say somewhere's going to be so that's it.
Yeah, right.
We're trying to.
We never did a show on going to them because they never made a radio workshop. We had 3 hours on the rest of the radio.
That's right. That's really simple.
I got a nice little thing that I'm going to show you. This is a program you were on with me. Did you ever do a show with Canon?
Yes, once. Just once.
Was it good?
It was, yeah, it was very good. Thank you, Bob.
This is a short excerpt from a broadcast in March of 1996. And this is where we were doing a whole show on Burt Lancaster.
You've been watching some of Burt Lancaster movies recently, right? I sure have.
She was Sue and Penny.
Yeah, we just heard by transcription from 2000 now. We're even live from June 37th, 2009. Welcome. Penny and Sue.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with cards if I'm doing this. I'm Sue, and I'm here with my sister Patty. We're back with our final unannounced interruption of the dance. 9 years ago, the 30th anniversary of those were the days, Patty and I, along with her family, stood up the Museum of Broadcast Communications with bags and bags of letters of appreciation from our dance students. Over 600 letters were showered on them all on the courtroom scene from here at 134th Street. 4 years ago, the 35th anniversary of those days was held at the LaSalle Bay Theater, still known more affectionately to us as the Savings. During that broadcast, we took over the stage to read a letter that we wrote expressing how our dad and his career had influenced our lives. Now, here we are in our hometown of Morton Grove, right back where it all started. I wish I could show you a photograph of what some of the rooms in our house looked like before our dad found permanent storage for the hundreds and hundreds of reel-to-reel tapes of these Our poor mother. Most vivid women of the 1970s, simple yet elegant dining room sets with a place to display china, vases, serving bowls, that kind of thing. Not our mom. She displayed Scotch-framed, reel-to-reel audio tapes in the light shades of cream, white, and green. Thinking about those days reminded us of bits of what you might call insider information about our dad. So, today, in honor of his retirement, we're going to share with you a few things you probably didn't know about your favorite old-time radio guru, Chuck Schumer. 39 minutes. Did you know that Charles Leroy Shaden was called by his middle name for the first 5 years of his life? When Stanley moved from Chicago to Norwich, he seized the opportunity to strike a new identity. In that new neighborhood, Chuck sold greeting cards door to door and took piano lessons. At age 13, he had his front tooth broken by his brother's ill-timed bow and arrow launch. In high school, he was the features editor of the Spineless Star newspaper and was voted class humorist. He was a member of the Green Curtain Players Theater Group, once held a job as a soda jerk, and enjoyed wearing a very snazzy red plaid sport coat. Despite this fashion challenge, our mother Ellen accepted his marriage proposal after a mere 6 weeks of dating. They were married 5 months to the day after their first date. And ever romantic, every year on April 8th, our dad takes our mom out to celebrate the anniversary of their first date. And this September, they will celebrate 53 years of marriage. Did you know that as a young adult, Chuck organized and participated in entertainment for the veterans at Hines VA Hospital? While in the service, he was the editor of the 5th Army newspaper. You'd think a guy who, throughout his life, has been the editor of various publications would type using proper fingerings, wouldn't he? No, Chuck is fluid in punch and peck. This is a good thing because sometimes he even can't read his own handwriting. For years, our dad played Santa for the Fritz family Christmas parties. Note that I said Christmas. He never says or spells Xmas. Speaking of holidays, when we were kids, we would wake up to rearranged furniture and upside-down paintings in honor of April Fool's Day.
Steve Darnell is here. The regular spot will be in my sanctified seat in Studio 1.
The old easy chair.
The old easy chair. It was really easy to
It has been a wonderful period these 2 months getting to work with you and watch you work and make this transition. You know, and all the transitions we've gotten to make together, I'm very grateful.
It's been very nice. So, you know, in the beginning when I announced that Steve Darnell would be taking over the spot, I heard from a lot of people, and most of them, the consensus was, who's this one? But over the last several weeks, months, we've talked, Steve has been on the air talking about his Nostalgia Digest magazine, which he inherited from me. And he's been on our show. We played the tape that he recorded of me back when he was 13 years of age. And last week we talked about other things that were in common. Now, this week, last week, you know what kind of comment I've been getting? Not the same comment, no. I was saying, oh, it looks like the bum is going to do a good job. So I think you will. I know you will.
Thank you very much. And like I say, a lot of you may know that Chuck 5 years ago called me and asked if I would like to take over as publisher of Nostalgia Digest, and I was very grateful for the chance to do so. And then earlier this year, of course, we talked about my becoming a new host and producer of Those Were the Days, and he has made both those very, very easy offers to accept. And then this last week, you called and asked if I wanted to buy your house. No, I have to say, and I know we're probably tight on time, but I have to say that in addition to all you've done to people like myself who are not there for the Golden Age of Radio, the obvious gift you brought to us was bringing us people who might otherwise be forgotten, people like Fred Allen and Jack Benny and the shows like Suspense and Cavalcade of America. But more than that, if I may say, you know, we hear the phrase "follow your bliss" used rather a lot, and I have to say that when I was 12 years old and discovering Those Were the Days, and I'd hear your voice on the radio introducing these shows, it made me think, God, that just must be the best job on earth. That must be so much fun. Wouldn't it be nice to have a job that was this much fun? And I can't say I've always succeeded in that myself, but I've tried to use that as my guide, you know, and I think about when you start doing something like this and you find an interest and it multiplies out into other interests. And it was through Those Were the Days that I decided I would try my hand at stage acting, and I spent some time as a commercial actor in the Screen Actors Guild. and I would try my hand at writing and editing, and I've been doing that for 20-odd years. And, you know, and as I said before, growing up in LaGrange, Illinois was an inspiration. Getting to work with you over these last few years has been an inspiration. And there was something I wanted to make sure absolutely make sure I said before we left the air today. My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you. My wife thanks you. And I thank you.
Patty, would you like an adoptive brother? You see, lots of people have said, well, we're going to miss you, Chuck, but we're going to stay on. And listen to the show, and you know, see this going to do a good job. That's what they're saying. You see this going to do a good job. And I want to do something today, too, for you. I wanted to somehow affect the passing of the torch. Handing over the microphone, so to speak. Not this. But I do have something that is symbolic of the program. It's something that we started doing on our program the very first year in 1970. And I trust that you will continue to do it every year. I'm going to give you an authentic transcription of the Cinnamon Bear. Is actually used by radio stations. It is a very rare and very collector's item, very big collector's item. And I want you to do one thing. I want you to take this over to the frame maker. The frame makers are going to frame this beautifully for you, and they're going to put a little plaque on it indicating that you've become producer and host of those little days.
Thank you very much.
And one thing that I wish for you, I hope for you, for your run, and I know it's going to be a long one, I hope for you that the tower doesn't go down. We were off 7 months. We were down on low 6 because the WDCB tower collapsed in a storm. And we agonized. You could be heard generally in Glen Ellen and DuPage County, but not out where we used to be. And when we finally got back on the air, and it was in July, power went down in December during the Christmas show. This is Chuck Shaden. Thanks for listening.